Good evening and welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton and Adam here as we try to be each week as we get ready. Well, I guess not get ready. We're in race season already, bud. How you doing?
I'm good, Clinton. I am tired, and I apologize in advance. It looks like my eyes are closed, but they're not. I promise I can see out of them, but they're heavy, man.
Yeah, I've been dragging my ass since last week too. That was a hell of a week. We'll recap the week that was at Ush Weekend. We'll talk about some of the stuff that went on. Dylan Westbrook's going to join us. They're in the middle of moving from their 410 pack to the 360s as he gets ready to go after another championship at Ush Weekend, and the 360s kicking off this Friday. So Dylan will join us to talk about that. I have invited Josh Stoddy. I sent him the links. Did not get a response, but if he jumps in, great at 8:30. If not, we understand. And then we're going to talk to John Fletcher, who's the crew chief of the car that was leading at the end of the CTMP race at. Let's try that again. The gentleman who was crew chief for the driver who was leading the NASCAR race at CTMP on Sunday, but did not come back the winner for I don't know how many years in a row. We're going to talk about the contact there between Cameron and Clute, but we invited John Fletcher to come on, and John, let's hear what he's got to say. So that's where we're at. I'm not sure what else is
John
going
is
on. We got
also
picture drop. Go ahead.
John is also a fun fan of the sport, right? But born into racing, he's been around it forever. Has a fantastic, sarcastic sense of humor, but he pays attention to a lot of stuff. We'll get a lot of messages from John during different streams that we do. Um, like, wow, I didn't even think John would be watching tonight, and he'll share something valuable. But and I may ask him this. I think he's led me down the path a time or two. I don't think he's always been honest with me when I've asked him questions.
Well, we'll see what he has to say tonight. Um, let's kick it off. When we last saw everybody, it was a rainy night at the Speedway. We were in the Tech Barn hanging out with Johnny Gibson before two absolutely fantastic nights at Ush Weekend Speedway. First off, I want to say to our fans and everybody who attended, you understood the mission and you completed it to 100%. And that mission was let the Outlaws know how much we valued them, how much we wanted them back, and make them feel welcome. And I never heard more great message about Ush Weekend from outsiders than I did from all of the Outlaw folks that hung around. It's just the hospitality of the Canadians were great. We even had their tech guy come up to us, and we'll talk at length about this. We got to tip some beers after the deal on Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday was really the good time. Everybody's hanging out, and just the level of comments that came up all night, and it was great because Tina Stiers was there with us, and Tina got to hear all the great things that we get to hear, and it was great for Tina and the family members to hear how great their place is. And I got to talk to Tina about that today. So, T, all you do is, you kind of take care of the business end behind your cubicle. And it's great for you to get out and understand that. Adam, I'm talking drivers, crew members, tech guys. One of the Outlaw crew guys came up to us and said, "We've never been treated like this. Everybody who had an Outlaw outfit on or a staff shirt was thanked so many times. They said, we've never been treated this good. And it was just our fans thanking them for making the effort to come up. And it was great. So, fans, you did a great job. Then we get to the weather, Adam. 2 flawless days. We've both been in racing 30 years in a professional sense. I don't remember a time when we've had 2 back-to-back nights that were Grand Slam home runs, absolutely flawless from every aspect of the action on the track to the timing, to the serviceability. And what I mean by that is we had enough food for everybody. The bathrooms were in good shape. The cops were there to get everybody off the property. So all these little things kind of worked out. And I really feel that we really hit 2 home runs. Can you think of anything wrong that went bad over the course of the 2 nights that should have been better?
No, but I'll tell you, I want to share another positive because that's all I think there was from last week. The image to me that'll stick in my head for a long time was after the races were over and the crowd didn't leave right away. They watched the fireworks, they stuck around chatting, And then there was a parade. There was a sea of people walking across turns 1 and 2 to go to the pits. And that's what's missing from a Friday night when we finish at 11 or 11:30 or whatever the time. And it is what it is. We have a lot of cars and a lot of classes. But the show was designed to be compact, get the fans in, get them entertained, and then let them do whatever they want. Maybe that's leave. That's more than all right. If you walked straight to your car and left, good for you. But if you walked into the pits, you saw a little bit more of the magic that is Ohsweken Speedway and the World of Outlaws. But it was a great scene back there after the races because it was early enough to make it happen.
Yeah, and you know that is a goal we're working for, is to try and get it done at a good time so everybody can get over there. We will be opening up that turn 1 gate and having the people move over to get people back to the pits. But you're right, timing was great. I mean, you know, we pay for the police, and I don't think people understand. I was talking to someone else today, and you know, we pay about $5,000 a week to have those police. They're not just there because they like racing or they want to help traffic. They are paid off-duty overtime officers that we bring in to help with the traffic flow. And it was 9:45 the first night, and I don't think I even booked the Six Nations Police till 10 p.m. Why would we ever need them before 10 p.m., right? And I'm like, man, the cops aren't even in their spots. Now, thankfully, they were a few minutes early and everybody flowed out nicely. But, man, if they weren't 10 minutes early, we would not have even had that help. So it was amazing that we actually beat some of our services to the end of the program. Mother Nature played in fantastic for us. And the facility showed really well. You know, the fact that we were able to get the race teams, you know, the areas they were to work on for 2 great nights. Even, you know, they got rained out at Cornwall Sunday, so they kind of hung around World of Outlaws. Look, don't drive 5 hours east until we make a call Saturday. So they all stayed at Ohsweken and serviced their cars. We were able to open up our wash bays. They all got to wash all their stuff. And those are extra little things that we're trying to do to make, you know, stays at Ohsweken a better time for these guys. So I think everything went excellent on behalf of our staff. I don't know if you saw my social media post yesterday, but it was about, you know, Larry Ott, and he's been around a long time for the Buffalo News, been to every racetrack in the land, sent me a great message and just said how great our people are and how we should be real proud of how everyone treated them. And that's the best thing we could ask for. So I don't know.
Larry actually walked up to me in the pits and stuck out his hand to shake my hand and introduced himself. I said, I know who you are, Larry. Just one of those fixtures. Larry, Fran, Dave Sully. Man, I can remember them sort of chumming together to go to the indoor races in Niagara Falls that haven't been held in more than 25 years.
Yeah. So both support races were great. I want to thank the Late Models and the UMP Canadian Modified teams from Brighton that came down. Those races were great as well. I thought things just went really, really well for us over the course of the 2 days. You know, we had a couple small issues, but one really big issue at kind of my expense. We can talk about the methanol mishap. So, you know, I was speaking to Terry Baker today, and I said, you know, everything seems smooth on the surface like a duck, you know, floating on the water, but underneath the legs are just going like crazy. So part of the U.S. Transition into Canada, and I do want to, just before I get into this, all the teams got in and out with no hassle at them. So that was another big thing that could be a stepping or a stumbling block to build bigger and better things with the Outlaws. If they all had a terrible time getting in and out, it would have been bad to build things. They had a great time getting out. Everybody slipped back in, no issues. So now we'll get to where we're going from here in a couple minutes. But Wednesday afternoon, let's back up even further than that. About 6 weeks ago, I started to get a call from Hoosier Tire and VP Fuels. They weren't going to bring any fuel or any tires. Well, you know, as the track that's paying the sanctioning fee, those both really don't fall into our basket. But because it was a unique situation, crossing the border, we have some business connections up here. Could we make it easier? The tire deal got sorted out without our input. We never heard more about it. Fuel, we got called about, you know, I got called about a fuel, but the fuel they're trying to sell us was twice as much as we can get it in Brantford or on Six Nations. And I said, no, Because if you drop off 50 barrels of fuel, we'll be stuck with it because I'll never be able to sell that at double the cost what they're buying at home. Never heard nothing more about it. 6 weeks go by. Well, Wednesday at 3 o'clock, 2:30, I guess it was. Probably 2 o'clock maybe. All the Outlaw teams show up at our tech barn and say, where's the fuel? We had no fuel for the American teams that showed up. My heart sunk at them. In a stressful ass day as it was, man, I nearly died on the spot. Can you imagine if we had sold, that many tickets for the grandstands? We have 39 race teams there, and we have to cancel the races because we have no fuel. So that was a gap in there, and
it's not like it's easy to find how many barrels of methanol in about 2 hours.
Okay, so let's get to that. So I started asking questions. I'm like, all right, let's figure this out. How many gallons do you think each team needed for the night? So they were telling me easily over a barrel each. So now I need 2 nights of fuel times 39 teams. They're all going to use at least a barrel of what they're telling me. That means I need 80 barrels of fuel in 2 days almost. So I am literally shitting my pants. Like literally shitting my pants. I called it. I just walked in the tech barn where I was dark and alone. And I phoned Doug Letter and I said, Doug, I think I have a big problem. We got talking on the phone. Then I got on the phone and I called 3 of my buddies who bailed me out. And I got to thank them big time for this. First call was Brad at Renway, who's a fuel supplier and track supporter. Brad said, I will have 7 barrels on the way. So I'm like, okay, I got something. We're not enough to run a race, but we can have heat races at least. Called Erica Bicknell. She got 2 on a truck from their warehouse immediately. So now I'm up to 9. And by miraculous circumstances, Mike Bowman started selling fuel this year. And Bowman had 13 barrels in St. Catharines. So within about, an hour and a half, I had 20 barrels of fuel. We were able to get another 24 ordered. And now I'm selling fuel because Cornwall rained out. So we have about 20 barrels still left over. But, man, we got through it. It was craziness. And those are some things that fans don't know really go on behind the scenes. But we made it work. And, man, the racing was awesome. So thank goodness for that. But to our teams, we're selling fuel now at cost. Call me. I already sold 10 barrels today. Let's bring in Dylan Westbrook. Dylan, welcome to the show. Adam, I just want to let you know that Dylan was our fastest Canadian. Jay Summers Garage was a program that Mike Morris worked out. Dylan's got an extra $1,000 cash coming to him this week, courtesy of Jay Summers Garage, by being the fastest Canadian each night, which paid out $500. So congratulations, Dylan. We'll have your envelope at the payout window this week. Pretty awesome show for you, bud. To go out and win the dash on the second night and start pulling the Outlaws, that was a proud moment for all of us. What did it mean to you, buddy?
Yeah, that was awesome. Since I haven't really ran a 410 in quite a while, and then to finally have the Outlaws back here and race with them in front of the family and everything in hometown, it was awesome. I just hope to go out there, have a good run, and definitely try to do the best that we could. But yeah, to go out there and win the dash, that was I did not expect that to happen. I knew we'd have. I was hoping that we'd run good just from being around here locally, but yeah, everything all came together for us. I mean, even the second night getting a good draw, and then it wasn't split field, so definitely had some things go our way, but I think we also performed pretty good also.
Well, and it wasn't a fluke, Dylan, because your local competitors also did really well, right? If one person has a lucky moment and everything falls right, your time trial in the right spot, but a lot of our guys fared well. What is, in your opinion, what's the most confident you've ever been as a race car driver? What year was it where you felt I'm unstoppable?
It had to be last year after we got up, winning almost like probably 10 or so in a row at Oswego there. It was it just felt like I couldn't do anything wrong. But at the same time, we kept on thinking like, well, we're going to lose one eventually. It's not going to go on forever. Something, either I'm just going to get beat or something's going to break. You try to go through everything, make sure that doesn't happen. But it's racing. Stuff's gonna happen. The good luck's gonna run out eventually.
So the reason I ask that is I feel the older we get, and you're maturing as a racer, you start to realize that you're not unbeatable. You're not invincible. But it's funny, as you realize that, you're able to achieve a lot more. So the times in your life you might have been crazy confident, they're going to lead you to times where you realize you can be beaten, but that'll allow you to go out and just have an unbelievable week like you did. So that was just how did that play into your mindset? What did you expect going in, and what kind of confidence do you have coming out of that?
I mean, we were hoping that we'd have a good run going into it. Kind of had a good engine and everything, or program. Everything was working really well. But at the same time, just in the pits, we're always like, well, let's go there, have some fun. Worst case scenario, the beer's always cold when you get back to the trailer. So just try to not put too much pressure on everyone. It's still weekend racing, just have some fun. So, but yeah, after that run, I'm feeling pretty confident going into next week. I mean, it's 360. We're learning some different stuff with the 410. We're going to see if we can put that towards the 360 setup and see how that works, because I was definitely real slick. Normally I'm not on the bottom middle that much, and I ran it pretty much all weekend. So hopefully if the track gets like that, say opening night, then we kind of got a setup to go to for that.
Dylan, how was the track? We always take a lot of flack from drivers, teams, fans. Like I know one guy was in the pit saying, "Oh, they get the best drivers in the world here, and they give them that track." I think they want it to be heavier, faster. To me, Ush Weekend, I told Adam we'd talk about Fight This. The track it's nature. It's a natural living thing. It's 90% on its own with a bit of human input. We can influence a little bit, but how was the track? I mean, it looked good Sunday when I was cleaning, or Saturday night when I was cleaning up. There didn't seem to be a big hole in one. 3 seemed to be a bigger problem than 1. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, it was definitely smooth. Racing it seemed pretty good. It was normally there is a little bit more on the top just so you can get guys going up there, and just it doesn't have to be much, but just almost a foot of just a little bit of grip just to go up there, where you didn't really see guys up on the top in the feature as much as sometimes. There's more bottom middle, but I think it still turned out for a good race. I was happy with it. I think a little biased just because I ran pretty good and I was happy. So I'm always going to think the track's good then. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like it when the track has a bit more grip, but that's how it is. We're all on the same track, so everyone's racing on the same track and just got to get better at that.
This is probably a dumb question since you won everything last year, but what year was the Ashwegan Speedway surface the most Dylan Westbrook racing surface?
Yeah, I want to say last year just because we were really good then, but even
I don't think it was.
No, even a couple of those nights wasn't my perfect track, say, where the top wasn't there. I had to move around a lot more, where I'm not even sure what year it was, but I know before there was always middle top had grip so you could just kind of hold it wide open, didn't even have to be right on the edge, where like you said, last year was a little bit, I had to move around and work for a little bit more.
I thought so.
My question
so last year you did what you had to do to win night in and night out. I remember in years past, you just get up on the outside where other people feared to go, put your foot down, and did some pretty amazing things. But you didn't venture off of that because you didn't have to. Last year, you went everywhere.
Yeah, last year how the track was. Oh,
no, go ahead, man.
Yeah, last year how the track was, it was it wasn't just one lane. Was for sure, you got to be on the top or the bottom. If you had your stuff set up good on the top, bottom, middle, you could run there and still be competitive in any lane.
Dylan, we get ready to jump into regular season now. Taking the 410 out, getting the 360 in. We're changing to a new tire in a couple weeks. We're going to see that next week with the ESS. A lot of changes this year. How do you guys keep your game on the same? Just keep digging? Yeah,
just keep on digging. I mean, we're here right now. We're at the shop. We're just waiting for the engine to warm up. We got on the engine heater now. Got the 410 all pulled out, 360s in, pretty much everything's all maintenance. So in a few minutes here, probably right after this interview, we're gonna go fire up the 360, make sure we have no leaks and stuff like that. But then should be pretty ready. We're switching over tires since we got to go from the outlaw tire to our weekly tire or right rear tire at Oswego. And then we're gonna have to switch again for next week when the ESS comes and we got to run the new right rear. So a lot of work switching tires, but it's all part of it. I'm kind of happy we get to run the new right rear before we just to kind of, when it's a non-points night, just to kind of figure out how it feels and if we got to do anything different to the car for that.
Speaking of how it feels, how much different does the 410 feel just driving onto the track, say for your time trial, where you drive out and just put the hammer down and go?
Yeah, it feels quite a bit different. Just once, it took me the first night hot laps, qualifying, then a bit of the heat race just to kind of get used to the 410 again. And then there's just a bunch of little stuff, like most 410 guys, little balancer tires and stuff. I just kind of forgot to do that. So have a little bit of a shake and stuff just because you're going that much faster. But yeah, by the end of the weekend, I finally kind of got used to it again and was ready to go. So even now, I think now when we hop back into 360 and just getting used to the speed of the 410, it's just going to slow it down that much and then hopefully make it easier and just be able to make choices on where to go just that much easier for us.
Dylan, bit of a dumb question, but how are you balancing these tires? That's a bit of inside tech that probably our viewers wouldn't understand. We understand how you have to do it on your street car, but are you putting it on a balancing machine like that? How are you getting this done?
It's pretty much just like what we call it, a tire balancer we have in the trailer, but it's literally you put it's like a fake axle in it, put it on the stands as rollers, and then just kind of set it there wherever the bottom settles. It's a heavy side, so put weight on the opposite side, and you just want to get it just so it sits there and doesn't turn anyway. Here, it's not real accurate, but it actually helps. I mean, nowadays we got stuff that'll bolt onto the rims and stuff to actually balance the tires. It's almost like the balancing beads and like the big rig tires. They have those now, but I mean, they just came out and they're pretty expensive. So before we get those, gonna wait until they come down in price a bit and then hopefully get a set.
Right on.
And you think it makes a difference, like enough that
it's like on a big track, like even like on Oswego there when we're hammered down, but Eldora and Knoxville, stuff like that, it just makes the track, it makes it so much smoother. I mean, even a 360, if there's more helping guys to do it in time, I'd like to do it every week. Even on the 360, just takes every little vibration out, makes it a lot smoother, but it is a bit of a pain.
Do you feel like you just gave something away to the competition? Like, is that something that race teams know a lot about, Dylan?
A lot of like the 410 guys, I bet. The 360s, it's not a huge deal. I don't think it's going to make any faster. It just makes it smoother in the car. Like, I don't think the little shake is going to pick you up a couple tenths or anything, but yeah.
As the team behind him's like, you just told them why you won all the races last year. What are you doing?
Well, we didn't even have a tire balance then.
Dylan, you get to talk to some of the racers. You're guys like you are probably the ones we are super proud of when you do well, because I consider you guys our guys, and not to the other. No offense to the other guys who came in later, but you grew up as a kid in our micro sprints, came through our crates, our 360s to stand on the podium in the biggest stage in the world. So those types of wins are a big thing for us because you are truly one of our guys. So being an Oswego guy, what were some of the comments and stuff you heard from the outsiders who were experiencing Oswego for the first time?
A lot of them loved it. They couldn't believe the facility. I guess since last time they were there, a lot of them is their first time. So they thought it was awesome. That's what they said is one of the best ones they've been to. So they're real excited. Like a bunch of them, they've seen videos and pictures and stuff, but when you see it in person, it's a lot different. So they're real happy with all that, the track, the racing, just everything. I didn't really hear anything bad from anyone.
You know what? Did you go down to Ransomville, Dylan, Friday, or?
Nope, didn't go down.
Why not?
I mean, our trailer situation, we got to figure a few things out with that before we go down on the road, like go on any bigger trips. So hopefully we'll have that figured out soon. And then we'll just kind of plan to hang out with Garrett Williamson on that Friday night. So not as much as I would have wanted to go race, it's cool just to hang out with him again. Not after not seeing him for so long.
Right on. Well, Dylan, we won't keep you much longer. Anything else you want to ask him, Adam?
I don't think so. Dylan, I'm just really proud of you. You've always been a great race car driver, and that's fine. Some people are, some people aren't. But I'm really proud of the way you conduct yourself in interviews last week. You just really represented local racing very, very graciously, and I would say this to Corey Turner, to other local drivers who had that opportunity to do the same thing. Just job well done, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck, D-Dubs. Dylan Westbrook, everybody, the reigning Ohsweken Speedway champ. Podium finish with the Outlaws. Thanks, Dylan.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
Always making time for us. It's great to see our guys do well, Adam, out there on the big stage and be able to pull it off. So super cool to get that done with Dylan. And, we are showing we do have some damn good racers around here. Well, Adam, go ahead.
Outside of the PA posse, where do the Outlaws go that the locals can outperform them? Keep up with them, run with them. Not like I've never seen it before. We've been around racing a long time, man.
No, I think I heard the Turfords say that next to California, Pennsylvania, and Iowa, we were like number 4 or 5 for hotbeds for sprint car racing in the world.
Well, and part of that, let's be real, part of that is what has been built around the track, but part of that is how affluent some of our race team owners are, who give opportunities to young up-and-comers who are able to shine. Dylan Westbrook couldn't do what he does.
From all the positivity I heard, am I out of line to think the pecking order could one day be Knoxville, Eldora, Ohsweken?
We can get there. That's a loose we. That's more to you. You and Glenn.
No, we're all in
the
this.
Reason I say,
we all roll this boat together, bud. We all pull it together.
The reason I say we is because that was such a big from Rob Longboat to Mary, to all the sign-in people in the pits, to the people at the front entrance, all the people who go about their jobs without interacting with everybody else. Well, Rob Longboat interacts with everybody, but that's kind of his jam. Everybody just was so hospitable and so, man, they just knocked it out of the park.
I really feel like one day we're going to be in those top 3 spots. I talked to Tina about it today. I said, like, it's crazy that you built this field of dreams and it's right on the cusp of being there. We're already in the top handful in the world of dirt tracks. We know that, but I think it's possible to be on that pyramid of 3. Let's jump in with Josh Dodd. He took time to join us here tonight. Josh is off to a great run. Left Sunset with the win at the end of last year's tour. Picks it up to start off this year's tour. Josh, congratulations. Unfortunately, the battle for 5th through 10th in that race, I don't know if you got to see it, but the last 10 laps, they totally ignored that Canadian flat roof system 17. And our producer is going to get a slap for that, Spencer. But, man, you kicked their ass so bad. You were so far out front that we just showed the battle from 5th on back. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And, that was unbelievable. I actually did watch the race back there yesterday afternoon. And, man, those guys were running hard, 5th through 10th. I think even my own crew guys said they didn't watch the last 20 laps because they were more concerned about what was happening from the 5th to 10th position there, seeing if another yellow was going to fly or not. But, those guys ran hard, man.
There we are, just getting a quick glimpse of it, Adam, before we get into it. Yeah. Just for our fans watching at home. This is the battle for 5th through 11th with the last 10 laps. It was crazy. Josh is way out front, though. Go ahead, Adam.
It wasn't like that the whole race, Josh. You had to put up with Sean Chenoweth. Did he take advantage of you on that restart when he took the lead?
I mean, I don't want to say yes. He jumped a little bit, but I mean, I think it's a testament. You see, 5th through 10th, how much every position means to every one of these guys in this field. I mean, to finish 5th as opposed to 6th. I mean, that's how hard these guys are running. So, I mean, Sean's had some bad luck with the pro late in the past and just hasn't been where he needs to be running. And he had a fast car, and he'd probably seen a chance to take his step and do it. I mean, I'd probably be in the same boat if I was in his shoes too. So, I was lucky enough to get it back. But even when he passed me, I felt like we had a strong enough car that I could wheel back up on him. I was kind of cool, calm, and collective. I was pretty happy with what I was driving, so I wasn't too rattled at all, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was actually a lot of fun to run against him and Junior up there for quite a while.
Josh, we would be remiss if we didn't ask about your mom. You told us in Victory Lane that mom came up to camp, ended up in the hospital at Barrie. How's things there?
Yeah, it's actually been good. She's the last 5 or 6 months been struggling with some health issues and just can't seem to get an answer. And seems like she goes for scans and a bunch of stuff. And Friday night she came down to camp with us, was fine. Saturday morning wasn't fine. We were on the rain delay, so we ran her into RVH in Barrie, and she got some answers, and they put her right into surgery. And now she's on the amend. She's home, and I think she's just happy and positive that she's finally got the answers that she was looking for, and it wasn't as scary as she thought. And she had a little bit of gallbladder surgery and got it dealt with. So I think she's happy that she can get kind of on the amend and get back out to her gardens with this nice weather coming around the corner.
Josh, what's your schedule look like this year? Obviously, you're gonna chase APC title again, but you've always been big on barnstorming races too.
Yeah, I like the big stuff. So the Junior Hanley is obviously very appealing at Sunset. There's a couple of 75 lappers at Delaware if I can get the time, and like Fridays for us to take off work and go do it. It's tough. If we can do it, we will. I kind of honestly plan my schedule around APC, and I always like doing opener at Sunset. So we've already got that in the books. And then I kind of keep a few weekends open for stuff like this weekend with Flambro doing that pro late $2,000 to win 50 lapper. I thought, it's not on my schedule, but why not go and run it?
Josh, a lot of racers will say, I'm not here to points race. We'll just let the chips fall. Is it safe to say you're gunning for the championship now that you're the point leader with the APC series?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone that's running the series wants that title. Everyone wants their name on that trophy for sure, but I just don't obviously I want it. Yes. I mean, every one of us is out there racing for something, right? So, to join the list of names that have had it in the past, to be able to put my name on it, that'd be amazing. But I'm going to try my best not to get caught up in points racing, because when you start thinking that way, you maybe don't take as much risks. And at the end of the day, I still want to win races and have some fun and be up at the front.
If you win every race, you're going to win the championship, Josh. Or just go out there and focus on that and get it done.
Exactly. If you're out there winning races, the points will take care of themselves. That's kind of how I think about it. But I got some bucket list stuff that I want to do too, and I've definitely want some, like Delaware. I've never won a feature at Delaware. I feel like I'm knocking on the door there. The last 3-4 years, I've been quick, and that'd be one to say. I want a feature there. Flambro in the past, I've won a feature there. I haven't won an APC race there. That'd be cool to say that I've done that. Peterborough, I just don't get the opportunity to go and support JP. It's just 5 hours away. If I can get down there and win that one when we go with the series, that would be cool too. So we're just gonna go out, take it race by race, and hopefully chase some more checkers for the rest of the year.
What track on the tour do you feel the best about going into? Or which one worries you?
Peterborough's a wild card for me because it's like 4.5, 5 hours away. So I can't get there as much as I'd like to. It's not particularly, I know a lot of guys like that track. It's not particularly one that I would say is my favorite. I seem to be racy when I go there. But I think it's just one that I'm just the most unfamiliar with. I feel like Sauble is obviously has always been my home, and I feel always will be a lot of my first big moments in racing. And when I started racing late model at 16, that's where it happened. And as a kid growing up watching my dad and the Andy Schmitz and all those guys, that's all I wanted to do. I felt like if I made it to Sauble Speedway, I made it. And I've done all that, and I've got the championships and the feature wins and the big invitationals to prove that. And then obviously my first APC win came there. So that's a place that I always look forward to going to. Sunset seems to be in the last 3 or 4 years. We seem to be finding something there. Always love going over there. So there's not too many tracks. Like I like going everywhere we go. They're all different in their own characteristics, and I'm just trying to learn the best I can and watch other guys and just trying to improve myself as a driver because I mean at the end of the day I'm not doing this full time. This is a hobby. This is what we do on the weekends. I don't have a cottage or a boat, so we love to race and we're all for it. So just if I can get better on track and be competitive every time we come out, that's what we look to do.
Awesome, Josh. It was quite a performance on the weekend. And listen, if you watch the broadcast back, you might have heard me mention you were in a hornet's nest there. You were looking at hungry racers, but Sean Chenoweth, Junior Farley, Dale Shaw, they're throwbacks to a time when racing was absolutely a contact sport. Like the sport has changed. I just had visions of that getting. Were you ready to get that physical if it got to it?
I feel like yes, because I like when I started late model racing, I was racing against Jason Parker, Scott McTeer, Tom Gibbons. I mean, all those guys, we were throwing doors at each other all the time. And, there was a lot of crossovers, a lot of doors. And I felt like every Sauble race, you're racing for the Daytona 500. Everyone wanted it that bad. I mean, just like EPC this past weekend, I mean, you see those guys running 5th through 10th, and they want every piece of real estate that they can get. Like I said, everyone wants this so bad and every position counts and they're racing. And I think that's what makes the series so amazing. The talent of like the 20 drivers that we had this past weekend, anyone could have won that race. And, we're so competitive. Everyone that we race against, we're just like all threading the needle.
Last question I got for you, Josh. Car counts. It seems like every offseason in November, the series is dead. Everybody's moving out. They had a good car count, and the quality of the cars were great, as shown all the way through the field. Do you think that's a line of bullshit we don't need to be talking about anymore?
I think so. I think with APC, I mean, obviously there's the guys that can't do the full tour, but you're going to have the Flambro guys. Like I feel like a Billy Schwarzenberg and maybe a Kevin Elbers, maybe some of those guys that come out to a Flambro. I mean, with Sauble, you're going to have a Tommy Gibbons show up and a few other guys, I'm sure. So I feel like the car count's going to be fine. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about the car count. And I think, like you said, Clinton, the caliber of racers, I mean, I said on a podcast last night, even you look at Ray Morneau and that team, like they need a big shout out. Those guys work their tails off to try and make that field. And you hate to see a competitor, especially a good competitor like Ray, start a season like that. And I think for me, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't have a whole lot of expectation for Saturday because last year that's how my season started. I was 15 laps in and blew a rear end and fought an ignition issue all day and blew an MSD box. And I had to crawl my way back from dead last in points to finish 4th in points, and you were running hard. So to start with a DNF and it's hard to claw back, but I think Ray could be up there and do it. That team worked very hard, and they need special shout out for all the hard work that they did to try and get that car back on track.
Right on.
It's very gracious of you, Josh. Look forward to seeing you at the next race. Look forward to watching you all season long, and congratulations on a great start.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on, and appreciate everything you guys do with G-Force and Racing America and everything that you got going on. You keep us small town guys on the board, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Josh. On that note, tomorrow at 9 p.m., the race from Sunday will show up on Rev, fully edited and ready to go prime time on Rev TV here in Canada. And we will show the entire broadcast the following Sundays after, a week later. So this Sunday at 6 p.m., you can catch the entire G-Force production that went to Racing America on Sunday night. Let's jump into our next story from the weekend. Crew Chief, John Fletcher for Gary Clute. Spencer, I don't know, do you have the clip of Cameron getting into? I kind of threw it in there. Do you got it? If you do, we can run it. John, welcome to the show. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're
Good, good. John,
John, go ahead, Adam.
that's all. We're just going to both say your name and then stop awkwardly. So, no. How frustrating is it? Because Gary Clute is gracious in defeat, and it's not a term I would use for you as well. You're classy, but I could see you throwing more jabs where Gary just kind of smiles it off and makes a comment. How frustrating was that final lap for you?
It was frustrating, but really not for the reasons you're thinking. I watched it back today, and I got to be honest, Mark, it wasn't an egregious move. It was a little bump and run. He's racing in the box that NASCAR has put us in. So, yeah, it's frustrating, but you know what are you gonna do? My solution to this is we got to be better. So he's not that close. That's my thought. Like it's not he didn't wreck him. You know?
And Gary made a nice save.
Oh yeah, in the wet grass, pretty good save. But what do you do? Do you wave them by and wreck them on the white flag lap? We're not doing that. It's just
but
you look at a guy like LP, he's a pro. He does it right. But I don't fault Mark 100%. He's racing within the boundaries that we're put in. And that's acceptable in this racing, right or wrong. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
That's a good point. John, you've been around this sport for quite some time. I've got a bit of a two-part question. It seemed to me a lot of things were up in the air this winter, and I go back. I remember times when people said, "Oh, as soon as Peter Gibbons left the sport, man, it's going to collapse." As soon as Dave Whitlock left the sport, oh, it's going to collapse. Fitzpatrick's. The list goes on and on. But man, 28 cars should have had more. Alex LeBay should have been there, so we should have been 29. What keeps that series hopping like it is?
Well, it's the biggest series in the country. If you're looking for corporate help, it's your only chance, I think, with television and the NASCAR name and it's the competitors. Like week race for race, it's probably NASCAR's best show, to be honest with you. Race wise.
I would agree. Talking to Josh Hurley and Ryan Vargas, two drivers from California who came up basically for similar reasons. There's opportunity when it comes to motorsports. It's affordable to do. I mean,
I don't know about affordable.
Well, that's why I say in the world of motorsports, it's much more affordable than other NASCAR touring series. It's not for me and you. Well, maybe for you, definitely not for me. But speaking of which, how about Jim Bray and Malcolm Strawn taking his car to a third place finish?
Best story in motorsports this year so far, I think.
Talk about your history with Mr. Bray.
I sold him his first NASCAR CASCAR Pinty's car. So I drove for him a little bit, and he's just moved on. He's put so many young people in the sport that have stayed. Like it's just he's an icon, and he's done so much for it. Like it's hard to top.
Okay.
And keeps giving guys opportunities. Even when it's not going great, guys get opportunities.
I thought you were going to say you sold him his first race car, and I would be like,
no.
"There's no way that's
I'm not quite
that's
that
quite
old.
Possible." John, I got to back this up. I've worked your CTMP end of pit road for many years now. I want to see the John Fletcher and the attitude you had yesterday or Sunday when it all went down, because there's no way in hell you were this calm. The second year in a row, or at least multiple years now, you're getting dumped. What is the solution? Now we can say NASCAR put you in this box, so it's allowed. You can say it ain't egregious, but it's bullshit. I watched Days of Thunder. That's if NASCAR ain't gonna call it down low shit ass racing, you better, bud, because that, what do we do to fix it? Is it an old fashioned punch in the mouth to straighten somebody out? Or
I'm going to
I
answer
think
this
Gary
too,
had
but I want to
Gary had a great point, because Gary said, like you said, what am I supposed to do next year when I've got all these guys' asses covered again and they're just gonna dump me? I wave them by and then dump them first. Like, what do you got to do here?
Well, his reaction afterwards was probably not mine when I was racing. But I didn't see it first off, okay, until today. So yeah, I was frustrated, and I was happy we had a great car, and if Gary's not losing his mind, it's pretty hard for me to do it. So it is, I'm not going to use that phrase. It is, what I'm going to say, but it's frustrating. But do you join that side of it? Does that fix it? Or do you continue to race like a pro?
Well, and
I don't know.
that's what I was going to drive towards, Clinton, is John sort of answered that, his previous answer, that it's the box NASCAR has allowed them to go into. So you don't hate the player, hate the game sort of thing. But I do think the way to improve it, the way to get there, is to say at the podium, look, when are we going to race one of these to the end?
Yeah, like LP did it a couple of years ago. He drove it in on the outside on the last lap and dug. He finished second, but he's a pro. That's how it's supposed to be done. So
Yeah.
if you go the other route, you're just making the problem worse.
Okay, let's go to
until
the positive,
somebody
John.
makes the driver.
Why are you guys so good at CTMP with that car and Gary behind the wheel? Like, you don't run the full tour. You guys can show up there and be the threat every year at that place. Why is the 59 good at CTMP?
Well, when you're running a full season, the guys can get behind a little bit on stuff. They can't focus on one or two racetracks. I have a lot of time to work on that car. I have a lot of freedom. Peter and Vicky, basically let me have at it. And, that's not for every team. On the flip side of that, it's damn hard to go be competitive running 2 or 3 races a year in that group. They're the best of the best. Let's not kid ourselves. I have full respect for every team, that we have to race against. Like, they work their tails off just as hard as anybody. They're smart, and you got to be on top of it to even compete with those guys.
John, how much harder is it? Your strategy saw you and Cameron work back through the pack and catch Strawn. It wasn't a foregone conclusion that you were going to catch Strawn. He was running a decent pace.
He was running a great pace, yeah.
Yeah, like he drove an excellent race. How much harder is it to get through the field in these races than it used to be even 2-3 years ago? Because a lot of guys struggled and never did get back through the pack.
Yeah, back a while ago, we would pit late, put tires on with 12 to go, and had a shot to get back there. The field now, the middle of the field, I shouldn't say the middle, but the bulk of the field, you're not whistling your way to the front anymore. It's just not going to happen. Like, the difference from 15th place pace you can't do it. So you have to be smart in making your decisions. When we were behind Andrew, I was watching the times, and as soon as Andrew started to fade, I just told Gary, you got to go now. And he come by the front straight and he was in front of him. So I wasn't concerned about catching them. It's just, you can't leave. And he's trying to save tires at the same time. Like, he's not slipping the car. He's dead straight. And, but when it's time to go, I got the whip out and he got going.
John, what are you looking forward to this summer? Any events? Maybe NASCAR, maybe not. What's got you excited about the calendar this summer?
I'm looking forward to, I don't know, coming up with something for Calabogie. I think we're going to go test there, which would be great. and it's an outlier for everybody, which is good. And we're going to Three Rivers with Gary, and then we'll see. Get to the dirt track some more. I don't get there enough. See my boy Nicky whoop him.
Now, do you ever get the urge to put together a Friday night special or a Saturday night special, John?
As in?
A race car, whether it's a Thunderstock, whether it's anything. Do you ever get the urge to?
Oh, I talk about it all the time. I come up with these harebrained ideas and then I get over it real quick.
Is that you behind the wheel, or you got a driver in mind, John?
Well, I raced the Super last summer once. That was fun. And I could do all of them this year, but I just can't, And
Bill Purcell showed up with a Glen Hills built mini stock 2 weeks ago and set the track record. So,
on the dirt, I'd love to try it.
It is possible for a pavement dude to come out there.
It would have to be a sprint car.
We can get you a crate.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'd do that. I'd do that Friday night if I could find something. Why not?
You'd be better watching. Someone could be ringing up your phone after this one. It happens all the time.
I'll answer it. Yeah.
Right on. There you have it.
I tried to get Nicky to do one for me, but he's shy.
He's committed.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you, John. Anything else, Adam?
No, man. Thank you for the text messages once in a while when you send them. Just your insight is amazing. I still, and I say this with all the respect in the world, cannot take all of your answers at face value because I still think you're an old school crew chief and you like to throw a little bit of wrench in the works once in a while. So I have to be careful with the facts that I put out.
I'll tell you a really quick story if you got time.
Yeah.
One of our competitors come to me and asked what we were running. And Gary's going to beat him every time anyway. Okay. So it's not a big deal. So I ripped a setup sheet out of the book and gave it to him. And he come after practice and said, I still don't believe you. So some old racer told me a long time ago, if you tell them the truth, they're not going to believe you anyway.
That's a good point. And that might be the lesson I need to learn. But no, thanks for being involved. Thanks for communicating.
Appreciate it.
I got one John story. I was a young reporter on pit road at CTMP, very much probably like what happened on the weekend. And Gary got wrecked, and the crews grabbed the toe plates, and John screamed from the top box, "We don't need the effing toe plates when we're just going back out there to wreck them."
Yeah, he wouldn't do it.
It happened.
Which is good. Yeah, it's good.
I love it. Thanks, John, for your time. Appreciate it. Join us anytime, and we're going to have to find your crate ride, bud.
Keep up the good work. Thanks.
Thanks, John. We're blessed to have those guys in our life.
Like, we got all this nice going on around us. It's I don't know if we deserve it or not.
I kind of hope John was going to be mad and throw tools around the shop on camera and still be pissed off about Sunday. That's if we wanted a big smiling guest, I would have just invited Gary, but I was hoping for a bit of rage, but we didn't get it. Where are we going from here?
Well, I think we got to go to videos. Okay.
Yep. They opened up. They're open. They got the Burger Barn trailer out there, the truck. So stop by Burger Barn, you get the fares back. I'm hearing the rebuild's going to start soon. But either way, you can get food on the property as of last week. All-Star race. I don't even know if I want to talk about that. It kind of jumped the shark. Did you see Michael Waltrip throw the yellow flag?
No.
It was terribly staged. We'll get to that. Oh, here it is. So Michael Waltrip, being a goon, pretends he throws the flag. Just look at the reaction from the flagman. It was so badly staged. Play that once again. And I think it's the reaction of the flagman that gives it away. They knew it was coming. Watch the reaction. Oh. It's terrible. Has NASCAR jumped the shark at the big top side?
Yes, Yes. So the All-Star race, trouble is $1 million doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
In
you're right.
1989, when they put up $1 million, that was a big freaking deal. That was life-changing money.
Well, back then
Now it's
cars
just
weren't worth. Yeah, you weren't renting a ride for $20 million a year. You know, you still had a shot to take some of that money home if you could actually win it. And I don't know, I was just disappointed by that. I was like, come on, NASCAR, be better. How about you sell authenticity back to us like the dirt tracks are doing? Give us the realism. It's there. You don't have to fabricate it. What do you think Dale Earnhardt would have done? And Rusty Wallace, if they stood up there and said, we're going to pretend. They would have slapped them right in the nuts. What are you guys thinking? It's ridiculous. Like, if you're going to throw you out, don't make it a big... we're insulting wrestling by saying that was wrestling. They do a better job of at least selling what they're trying to sell.
Right. I don't want to knock NASCAR because I still love it. But if you look over the last number of years, they had Kevin James create a sitcom, whereas F1 built a documentary. Which entity did better? You look at some of the things. F1 started running street courses, went to Miami, went to Las Vegas. Who did better? You know, NASCAR did go to Chicago, but I'm saying it just seems like they're not quite on the cutting edge of what they need to do to really get to the next level, to get that broader audience. They're still pretty damn good, don't get me wrong. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, F1 has really launched itself. It was already the pinnacle of the sport, but they really did good things for themselves.
But fire the script writers and hire more technologists. We need more Spencers and less writers. Put more cameras in the car. Put that money into better things to immerse us more into it instead of trying to write shitty jokes that none of us get or appreciate and just makes our sport look stupid. I like
his grid walks,
but be better. Oh, no, that's all set up too with corporate bullshit. Nothing is real anymore. You want to see a grid rock? You watch Martin Brundle do it on Formula One, and he's getting rebuffed by the stars who ignore him. Man, that is authentic, and it's painful some nights to watch. And he's just relentless. Like, a couple weeks ago, the one singer was ignoring him, and he was just, like, not giving it up. It was authentically beautiful. I'm going to put it that way. All right, let's have some fun. Indy 500 this week, Adam. Don't forget that. It'll come up in the picture drop. Let's just go to it. Picture drop or Burger Run for this week. Spencer, send it. I don't know what we got. We had a busy week. Who knows what we sent? Oh, yeah, look at this. This is Abenstein Solomon, Abby's great-great-grandfather, the inventor of the Helidrone. Now, this is a great option, Adam. Except what happens if you lose your balance and fall off?
Well, you'd be a little closer to the ground.
Yeah, you'd be chop suey. All right.
Chop suey.
All right, let's go. Keep them coming. Oh, this is just a classic backyard track. Look at the speed. Look at the smoothness. We show a lot of backyard tracks, but this one looks like fun. You get some drafting going on. They're hauling the mail. Good times. All right, keep it going. Oh, a lost art, Adam. Hand painting race cars. About 30 years ago and beyond that, everything was hand painted. Even some of our best graphic artists, like a Steve Lyons, or probably even a Darren Dryden, would be the guys who would be doing this. Amazing work. You know, doesn't really stand the test anymore because they get beat up so bad and everybody wants to be so clean. But man, this is a classic art that's kind of lost now, right?
Oh,
isn't that gorgeous?
It's 100% lost. Yeah.
I think we had one more too. I don't know if we're going to put it back to back, Spence, or not, but send whatever you got down the pipe. He's looking for it now. Here's the second one. Oh, this might be I just love the colors and the key lines they put on. Just makes the whole thing pop. It's such a cool thing. And what the artistry, it's just unbelievable what they're able to do.
Yep. Hey, I want to go back to this weekend. This is the one day of the year I still try to honor my late dad. He loved Memorial Day weekend. Grand Prix of Monaco, Indy 500, World 600 at Charlotte. That's the day I remember my dad the most of all the days throughout the year, more than his birthday, more than the anniversary of him dying. That day and how much it meant to him to watch all that racing.
That's cool. Yeah, if you get a chance, the Indy pre-race stuff is unbelievable every year. If it's the only thing you watch IndyCar all year, watch the hour leading up to the start of the race. You won't be disappointed. The way they sell this thing is so good. And thinking of Bob too.
And it doesn't seem staged. Like it is. It's choreographed, but it's intentional. Everything is back home again in Indiana. Like all the things.
But it's not goofy. It's real, and it's this is everything everybody aspires to be. It's so inspirational. If you get a chance, check it out. All right, Spencer, what's left? We got a bunch still, I'm sure of it. Oh, this is looking John Heldon Hodenschild working the throttle here in the sprint car. And look, there ain't much lift there, bud. Dragging the brake a little bit, but he's pretty much hammered down the whole way.
Man, look how delicate he is with that brake pedal.
And listen to that thing just singing. All right, that's good. So cool. They change 2 motors at our place. They change the motor every night. Keep it coming. Okay. Okay, so Adam, this is a question for you. These sprint cars get together. The leader keeps going. If they throw the yellow, is he involved or not? Didn't stop.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't know who created the rule that if you don't stop, you're not part of the yellow, because you sure as hell are.
Yes, agreed.
Remember when Freddie Carlton drove down to the highway at Humberstone to get back to the racetrack or whatever? He took a roundabout way. He said, he didn't stop. He's not involved.
Okay, good point. All right, keep it coming, Spence. Oh, this is swimming at the NASCAR track. Got flooded a few years back. Everybody's just down there swimming. It's not the best place to swim, though. Imagine all the puke and human waste and gas and oil that are down in that turn. I'm not into that. All right.
I don't think those are the thoughts going through their mind when they make that split-second decision. Should be.
Yeah. No. Keep it. What else, Spencer? Did you see this, Adam? Happened in Lancaster last weekend.
Yeah, Scott Wiley was involved in that. I'm friends with him on Facebook. There were a lot of opinions about what was going on there, and
yeah, I wasn't there. Hard to tell. Was it drizzling and they were trying to get the show in, or was it that out of nowhere rain that happens once in a while?
It was misting. And it got worse. Here's the trouble: you could, if the backstretch was the front stretch, that wreck wouldn't have happened. But once the rain opened up on the drag strip, which is the front stretch, it's a different kind of slippery, right? Like once that washes out, it's just you're just out of control.
Wild. All right, keep coming. Everybody made it out. Good with that. Spencer, what's next? Oh, this is Cardiff, Texas. They had to cancel the race because they were going so fast that drivers were starting to black out from the G's that they were getting. They actually had to cancel this event, which is crazy. I believe if you watch the Alex Tagliani interview with Gary Clute on Gary Clute's podcast, he talks about this and how they were starting to black out in practice, which is crazy. All right, that's good, Spence. Back. Insane to think they got going that fast. All right, this is it for videos. Picture drop. We just had some fun. I felt like I was sending in stuff from The Hangover. You know, at the end of The Hangover, when they look at the pictures from the week. It was just kind of the week that was. So roll them, Spence. Here's your picture drop. Oh, Adam, look at this. We see a lot of go-kart crashes. Look at how mangled that thing is.
Wow.
Like, that thing did like a 100-meter sprint in a 90-meter gym. Like, man.
And that was
All right,
a
moving
kid.
on.
Look at how small that seat is.
No doubt. This was Bob Monroe when he first started. Riding the horse to the back row. Your heat race is on. Your heat races are
Check
on.
the board. Check your position.
Hear ye. Check ye board. Check ye position. All right, let's go. For only the sixth time in Indy 500 history, the Indianapolis market will not be blacked out and can be watched live. The race is officially sold out. Is that the Kyle Larson factor, Adam?
I don't think so. No, I think it's a well-promoted series. Like, I think that they've done some good things with it. And I think Indy, for a number of years, has been picking up momentum.
All right.
Kyle
What else
Larson
we got
doesn't
now?
hurt. He's a good story, but
Drop the pick, Spence. Oh, this is cool. We didn't really talk about it much last week because we were Schweigen. It's cool to take a sprint car down to CHCH News. Get to show off. That was Rick Zamprin. He does the Tycat games. It was cool to see that. And that was just one of the drops. Keep them rolling. This was kind of the, Monday night they started rolling. And this is kind of when the moment for me when it became real that we were doing this. 8 of the teams rolled in. We knew it was actually going to happen. That was a cool moment. What else, Spence? This is cool. David Gravel, Max McLaughlin talking with Glenn there about Glenn's super late that he won the race with on Wednesday. What else? Dougie Leonard. I had to get a picture with Doug. He was instrumental in helping me put this whole thing together. And thanks, Doug, for all his help and hard work to make it easier on the teams and getting us through it. So love you, Dougie. Thank you for your help. It was cool to be with you this week. And I know you're proud of what Oshweekend was able to deliver back to the series as well. Famous Roma pizza, bud. Since you failed to bring it to me, I had to have it. Even Jackson, me, Dad, what is that shit? I said, don't talk to Adam about it. Just put it in your mouth. All right, what's next? Joe Scott Nicky, I threw in the Marcus. Can you write David Gravel's name on this? I'm a bit tied up. He said, hey, I run a series. I've never got to write a check in my life. So this is kind of cool. Can you take a picture of me? I'm like, yeah, man. Okay, that's a good one for Joe. Well, now, this is why you got to be careful around the campground at night. Someone thought it'd be good to go up for a ride at 4 a.m, ended up with their car in the ditch, missed the out ramp of the campground, and ended up with their car and a ride to Six Nations Police Station. So be careful at night around the racetracks. And if you're drinking, don't be driving into ditches. What else we got? Mac the Man showed up. Was able to give him his championship ring. Just had to grab a picture with Mac. Good to see Mac hanging around. That's still in Westbrook with Jay Summers from Jay Summers Garage. Jay Summers, as we mentioned earlier, stepped up with $500 for the fastest Canadian each night. Jay, thanks for your support of Oshweekend. It was great to see him be able to give the money to Dylan Westbrook both nights. So Dylan picked up an extra $1,000 courtesy of Jay Summers. Stu Friesen and I, late at night. Boy, we had a good time there back in the party Thursday night. It was a late one. That isn't the sun coming up, but it darn near could have been. There's all the fuel we got left with. That was my methanol mishap. But hey, we got the show on the road. At least the next day we had enough fuel to get the races in. There's the party Thursday night. It was a good one. Lots of teams showed up. David Gravel got wrestled to the ground by T-Mac, and hopefully he still wants to come back. But Gravel had a good time. He took the reins of the Spotify machine and was playing the tunes after winning all the money, $32,000. David Gravel. That is a fabulous shot. I sent that to Steve Lyons. he helps us design these trophies and the checks. And, that was just a shot I had to send Steve. All your work looks great, bud. We appreciate it. Creative Edge and making our stuff look great, even in Victory Lane.
You want to hear something funny, Clint?
Yeah.
Connor and I have been talking about rookie status. He still maintains he's a rookie this year because he's only run 5 races. You can run 5 races and still have and that's not the point. That's it. The reason he wants to be eligible, he says, I just really want a big check. I want one of those big checks. Not the trophy, not the title. He wants one of those big checks.
That's hilarious. Spencer, I just sent you a video from Dylan Westbrook. I don't know if you can get it before we get off the air here. If not, no problem. Any more pictures? What else we got? Is that it? Oh, this was Friday. Man, if you showed up last week, you'd think they were racing at night. All the teams had their stuff set out. They were all doing service. They were all washing. If you happen to pop in a weekend on a Friday afternoon, Schrader, we had the Schrader ride-alongs there. And all the teams, the outlaw teams were working on stuff. A great time to talk and hang out. Here's Schrader and Logan Schuhart from Federated Auto Parts getting ready to go for their ride-alongs Friday morning, which is cool. Kenny Schrader lets you drive one of his cars, and then he takes you out for some real laps on your own. So that was cool. Good to have Kenny and Logan Schuhart there still hanging on Friday morning. Another great picture of how, the fireworks and everything looks at Osh Weekend. What a great shot of David Gravel up on the roof grabbing his win from, I think that was Wednesday night. The fireworks and smoke. Looks great. You got it? Is that it for the picture drop, Spencer? Dylan Westbrook just sent me this, Adam. This is their 360 in, fired up and ready to go. Thanks, Dylan, for joining us. Thanks for the video. The champ is ready to go for Friday night, Adam. We'll be back live on G-Force at 7:30 this Friday. And go-karts and microsprints start soon on Thursday. So we'll be offering 2 nights of live, 3 nights if you include us, 3 nights of live racing action each week here on the channel.
We're going to have to talk about overtime if we keep going 15 minutes over.
Don't worry. You were busy at your NASCAR job. I fed Spencer a couple extra hot dogs on Sunday. So we bought a few minutes for the next couple weeks anyways. After that, we're going to have to get fancy. I have to buy the jumbo dogs next week to pay them back. But anyways, appreciate you being here. Appreciate all our guests. Spencer, love what you do, bud. Thank you so much. Don't forget, Friday at 7:30, we're live as Fresh Jump presents the season opener for the Points Championship for the 360s and all our other divisions out of Weekend Friday night. We'll see you there.